But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
Muted. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
I'm so glad I got rid of that neck beard. Oh, my goodness. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first episode of our VNL season. This is episode 158. This is the 81 square meters of the best volleyball coverage on the internet. My name is Everett Delorme from an undisclosed location in Gatineau, Quebec. That is Rob St. Clair from the same location as always in Chicago, Illinois. What's up, people? How we doing? VNL is here, baby.
That's
VNL
right.
VNL is here.
That is right. Well, and what a time it is, Everett. I can't wait to hear from you about all the shenanigans that you're up to. You're in some beautiful like outdoor area. You've got sunglasses on. You've got like flowers blowing in the wind behind you. Like this is picturesque.
Well, to be honest, so here's what's going down. This morning there was a press conference at TD Place
In
Mrs.
Ottawa.
Rob, in Ottawa for week 1 of the women's VNL, and of course, there's practices going on all day. However, because they did the press conference, I can't do other interviews with coaches and stuff like that. So there's no real point for me to sit around and watch practices.
Oh, interesting.
So and stuff like that. Yeah. So because also technically, what we made our media day in the past wasn't necessarily a media day, if you catch my drift. You know, if you know what I mean. So never any malicious intent, but yeah, let's just say it. So after going to the press conference this morning, which you guys can watch in full on our YouTube channel already live right now, I'm going to be clipping out a few of the pieces from certain of the specific athletes as well. That'll be up a little bit later. I hung around a little bit. I watched the Dutch practice. I watched Japan practice a little bit. I chatted to some people, just said hi to friends and whatnot. And then, I was chatting with Daniel Lewis, Mr. Dan Lewis, new head coach of the Canadian national team. And it was like, hey, let's chat. You're the new head coach. When are we getting together? And he's like, we have a practice today between 1 and 4. And I might be able to chat with you afterwards. He's not 100% sure. So I did just kind of come out here on a whim because he might have to take care of his kids afterwards. But who cares? I get to go watch the Canadian men's team scrimmage. Apparently, according to him, there's going to be some important decisions being made today.
Oh,
so
is that right?
That's why,
like a week 1 roster, perhaps.
Exactly. So that's why I decided to hop in my car, my little car. Actually, it's a minivan, and drive over here. And my idea was that I was just going to do it in the Centre Sportif to get to know just in the foyer area. But as I was lugging all my stuff up, I saw this beautiful hill. I saw this rock that I'm sitting on. I saw the trees. It's beautiful out. I was like, fuck it. Why not, baby?
I love it.
Also because there wasn't even a Wi-Fi network for me to jump on inside anyways. I was going to hotspot anyway. So why not just do it from out here in the wilderness?
Well, you look and sound fantastic. It reminds me of when I was on Mackinac Island in Michigan last year during the Olympics, doing our shows from outside.
Yes.
We don't do a lot of outdoor content on this channel, but this is cool. So yeah, it is VNL week 1. It all starts tomorrow, Wednesday, June 4th. Actually, technically in my time, Central Time, there is a game that starts just before midnight tonight on the other side of the world. We're gonna get into at least all the teams, where they're at, some games to look for. There hasn't been any volleyball played since our last show. We've put out a bunch of preview content, so we're kind of just going to let the show go where it's going to go. Everett, first of all, one thing I wanted to ask and point out is like, what's the vibe in Ottawa and around TD Place so far that Ottawa is hosting women this year for the first time instead of the men, and also that this is like the last volleyball event that will be at TD Place, because aren't they demoing it?
So
is that not happening?
The plan was actually is that so actually in fact not. The plan was that they were going to be demoing it. However, there's been a change of plans in terms of everything, and they're not demoing it until the new stadium is built, which I think originally was supposed to be now, but they haven't even broken ground on it. So actually, I don't want to announce anything that I'm not allowed to. Actually, no, that's not true. Multiple people have told this. I've heard that Ottawa signed on for another 3 years.
Oh my goodness, no way! That's awesome.
Yeah,
that would be
Ottawa. This is not official, and I'm not divulging any of my sources. Although there was multiple There was multiple. Ottawa will be on for the next. Oh, and also none of my sources are from people I know within volleyball world. I'm just if anyone's out there, no, they're all from Volleyball Canada and Ottawa OSEG people. So
that's awesome news. I love TD Place. I'm happy that I'm not missing the last time that we're there. And I mean, do people know, Everett, that you're like an Ottawa guy? You grew up there. Is it cool to be home and volleyball in your city?
Like the Ottawa the Ottawa people for sure do. Like if if you're Ottawa volleyball people or Ontario volleyball people or even Canada volleyball people, like Ottawa always feels like a nice little homecoming. Even getting in today, like I saw my boy Brad Moyer, the Silver Fox.
Shout out Brad, he's the best.
I saw our good friend, Bianca, who's always holding it down, who's like an Ottawa person, but now is a volleyball world person as well too. Kathy O'Doherty, of course. I know my boys Matt Harris is kicking around too, and it's just like it's just good times. And then other people like in the volleyball. So I had a nice little conversation with Guidetti too, and I was saying like, hey, this is my city, man. Let me take you out. Let me show you around. So it is a different, like, people are noticing like there's a little bit more curiosity, I think, around the city. Just because it's women's volleyball, I think that there's a bit of more of a pulse right now for women's sport, especially with the PWHL team Charge making a nice run to the finals currently. Our women's soccer team is just getting going in their first season as well too. So I think that there's a little bit more buzz. I've heard that ticket sales aren't as good, but I think we need to recognize that this week in Ottawa, it's always been men here, and we haven't had the women really play in Ottawa, and it's just been 15 years of men since the men moved here in 2010. But then also too, let's be perfectly honest, this is not the most enticing of weekends in terms of teams who are playing. Right. This even if before you knew what the rosters were looking like, if you were look at these 3 weeks and be like, where do I want to go? Right. Where do I want to watch? Right. And especially since Arlington is also on the schedule for the women, there's going to be other chances for people in North America to watch things in North America. But yeah, I think that things are going to be pretty good. And I think the vibes are pretty good here right now.
Good news. Yeah, I've loved being in Ottawa the past few years. I hope they put on a good show for the women. But you are right. As we take a look at what teams are where this week for week one, the list of teams that are in Ottawa on the women's side is just not stellar. Just not that good. In Ottawa, we've got Canada, Japan, Netherlands, Dominican Republic, Serbia, and Bulgaria. Many of those with kind of B teams across the board. Down in Rio, Brazil, we have Brazil, Italy, Germany, Czechia, the United States, and Korea. And then on the other side of the world, getting started the earliest in Beijing, China, Turkey, Belgium, Poland, Thailand, and France. The rosters are in. The 14-player rosters are in. They're not anywhere on Volleyball World's site or socials, but we've pieced them together so we know for the most part, at least the general strategies of all these teams. Are they bringing a B team of sorts, or are they intermixing in some usual stars, usual starters? And I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out this week, Everett. Let's start with your team. Let's start with the Canadian women. What's the vibe around Guidetti? What's it been like hanging out with him today? And what is the plan for the Canadian women this week as they take on, let's see, who is it?
We're taking on Bulgaria first and foremost. Okay. Bulgaria first, then it's the Dutch. To be honest, I spent such a brief moment with him and Bree, just kind of chatting afterwards. But just in hearing Bree talk and in just hearing him talk, it seems like the vibes are really good, especially around the women's team right now. Obviously there's no Alexa, so there's a lot of big question marks that I think are going to be fun to discover. But even just talking with Bree afterwards, and she was saying that the competitiveness in the gym is really, really good. And that it was really sad to see some, stalwart people who have been with the national team, for a long time kind of move on. But the energy in the gym right now is really, really good. And there's a lot of good synergy happening. So I think right now you've just got an injection of a really well respected coach who's really enthusiastic, who speaks really, really well. Like right now, so far, just hearing him and Bree and Gio, as she calls him, communicate.
Awesome.
It really, and like you guys can go on, and I'll clip out Bree's part specifically too, just for a smaller clip. But it's clear that, like she talked quite a bit about the loss from last year, and obviously it's on everyone's mind. The Dutch are a second opponents here. It was even asked during the press conference, and it does seem like, especially, I can't speak for the rest of the team, that Bree has been able to kind of take what was, as she calls it herself, a failure last year, and grow and learn and move on from it.
Interesting that she used those words. I mean, obviously the mission was to qualify for the Olympics. You fell just short of that, but I actually kind of like hearing that's the way that Bree is thinking about that, and her leadership is going to permeate down the team, and that message is going to get carried through. That's pretty cool. Looking at the roster, it's interesting. You brought 16 names, so I assume there will be some moving in and out of some alternates day to day. There's 5 outsides and 3 liberos. Otherwise, kind of the position breakdown that we expect. Kira Van Rijk and Anna Schmreck are at the opposites. I'm really excited to see if Giovanni is willing to start Schmreck.
So I think obviously not match number 1, but I don't think it's a question that Schmreck is going to start at some point throughout this VNL. I asked him pointedly about that Schmreck Van Rijk dynamic, and he said that it's going to be really nice to be able to give Kira just a little bit of that break, and to give her some time to sit back and take a breath for a moment. I mean, Schmreck is she's a legit prospect, right? This is the tallest woman in women's, 6'9", 6'10". She's the tallest woman in volleyball. She, is a former NCAA Finals MVP. She went to a Scudetto final this past year with Malone's as well too. She's already experienced so much in volleyball, but it sounds like, just in talking to Bree and Guidetti about her, that there's just a lot of excitement just about how raw she is and still how much she has to grow. And that's always a good thing when you're getting someone who's already that skilled and that highly touted, and they still have that room to grow.
100%. And you can't teach 6'9". That's for damn sure. So like you said, you got Bulgaria tomorrow, Netherlands Thursday, then the day off Friday, Japan Saturday, and Serbia Sunday, all in front of home crowds. How do you see this week going for Canada?
Honestly, I think I can see it pretty good, mainly because I think we can see it pretty good. I think we've got 3 really young teams. The Dutch are kind of 50-50, but I got to watch the practice today, and man, did they look good. They looked crisp. Dalderop was not quite out there. She was getting like a little bit of, like treatment and stuff like that, but like the Dutch look crisp. The Dutch look good. Like they look like they were doing they look like they were on fire. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup when they take each other on early. But yeah, like it is going to be I think Canada has a pretty good chance this week, especially like you've got the majority of that roster coming back. Apparently you've got some hungry girls in that gym who wanted to get out there and prove themselves. I think it's gonna look pretty good. I think 2-2 is definitely attainable at the very least. I think I'd want to see us push for at least 3-1. I did get to watch that Japanese team practice, and man, they look so crisp, so good. So it's really hard. It's really gonna come down to see how they perform. And like this Serbian team is such a young group of girls. The Bulgarian team is such a young group of girls. Sure, you have Dominican Republic, but their starting setter, Nevjeka Marte, is pregnant. She's 3 months pregnant and on the roster, which is huge. And I'll clip her out her part as well too. So I just think that there's so much uncertainty amongst all of these teams right now that it's really tough to say like what it's going to look like when things get going tomorrow.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of this VNL and how unpredictable it is. There's so much that we don't know. I'm trying to find Serbia's roster really quick because you get to see them up close. Definitely no Tijana Bošković, which we're not super surprised by for week 1, but they've got a lot of the tools other than that. And so many of our fans have been complaining at us that we haven't talked about the rest of Serbia's cast of characters because Bošković is so important. Now, I know that you guys love Aleksandra Uzelac and that she was really good in Turkey this year, and that you love Katarina Dangovic, who is also really good in Turkey this year. And we know how good Hana Kurtigic is in the middle, but like I need to see it with those players in a Serbian jersey before I like trust a great supporting cast outside of Tijana Bošković, if that makes sense. Like, and this week they're not going to have Bošković, and that point scoring is going to have to come from so many different places. And then there's also a question mark at their setter position. So I'm super interested to see Serbia. Have you seen them yet at all?
No, I haven't seen Serbia. I don't think I will see them practice today just because of being here and stuff like that. They, from their press conference, though, it sounds like they brought a really, really young team.
Yeah.
Like the girl, who did they have up there? Katarina Dongovic?
Dongovic, maybe. Dongovic.
Yeah,
that's her married name. She was Katarina Lazovic. She played for Malone.
Okay, yeah. No, I know Lazovic.
Yeah, she was really good on Galatasaray this year.
So apparently she's the oldest player on the roster this week.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
So it is a very young roster, from Serbia.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that across the board. I've been kind of saying don't sleep on Bulgaria, but I'm real curious to see how they hang against Canada in the first match of the tournament tomorrow. I doubt Bulgaria wins that match, but I'm just curious to see if they, it's pretty easy to tell right away if a team has relegation in the picture or if they don't. And I think we'll be able to tell pretty quickly with a lot of the teams that are. I don't know.
Yes,
Bulgaria in
but
particular.
It's so hard, especially for week number 1, because like Serbia's roster, like, dude, Terzic isn't even here. Right?
Is he really not?
They didn't even bring Terzic, right? So Serbia is completely throwing in the towel for week number 1.
That's really
right?
funny. I mean,
Terzic isn't here, right? Like it is truly like it is a B roster out here for Serbia, right? So, yeah, like it's really hard to say what they're gonna look like. And on the same thing with Bulgaria, like we don't know what any of these teams are going to kind of bring out or unfold. Like if you want to talk about rosters, I saw what like Brazil's roster is looking like for week number 1. And are you still sure you want to call them as beating you guys in week number 1? Like, I'm not so sure.
Yes, in week number 1, there's it's a good segue to focus on the games going down in Rio next, because that's where my United States is at. We have an Olympic final rematch against Italy first thing in the tournament tomorrow, but that there is no way we get to probably even 15 points in the set in that match. Then Brazil in Brazil, so 2 real tough ones, and then Czechia, a day off, and then Korea. So if you guys caught the USA women's preview I did last night, just talk for half an hour or so about how young this team is. We know the week 1 roster. It has 0 Olympians, barely any people with even VNL experience. So it's going to be a tough first couple games. I mean, Brazil has both the setters. They have really both the primary opposites. They've got middles with experience. They don't have Gabi, but they do have Ana Cristina and Julia Bergman. So other than Gabi, I have more than enough faith in Brazil's pieces to take care of a USA team on Thursday night in front of probably a big crowd who has never been there before.
How are you rating like Julia Bergman higher than like any of your girls?
Because she's played played internationally. She's been to an Olympic Games. Like that totally matters. This US women's roster has two completely brand new setters
who have overrated.
Two setters who have never done it before, outside hitters who have never done it before, including Maddie Skinner switching back positions to the left side, middle blockers who have never done it before. The only position with any amount of experience is libero.
I think that's so overrated. Like at this point, like going to an Olympic Games means nothing in terms of how is this team going to work together on the court. Like how are these pieces going
together on the court? This is like. I actually heard from a buddy of mine who talked to Eric Sullivan recently, who said that like he doesn't think he has enough matches. He doesn't think 12 matches is enough to play all the combinations of lineups that he wants to. Talk about pieces working together. It's going to be an absolute revolving door, as it should be. That is how this should go. If we take a set from Brazil, I will be thrilled.
I feel like I'm upset that you're devaluing the skill of your players this much. Like I fully understand where you're coming from, but like, bro, have a little belief in like here's the way I look at it. We're not looking at a bunch of inferior athletes hoping to figure out how to play at the big times. We're talking about a bunch of like elite fucking athletes who are at the top of their game, who are going to be able to compete with literally everyone. So
we're talking about elite talent. We're not talking about elite athletes at the top of their game. That is not the case, especially with this roster this week. There is no way. Some of these players
are the same thing. But it's the same thing for other teams as well.
Right. So thinking that this USA roster is going to go down to Brazil in match number 2 of a new regime and beat Brazil in Rio is insane. That's not going to happen.
But I also think that thinking this USA roster is going to go down to Rio and not fight, not even take a set, is also a little insane.
Off of Italy and Brazil, we will not. Then Italy's
a different story.
Italy, no chance. Italy, I was honestly stunned at Italy's roster, man. It's like
me too. That's wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Egonu and Antropova, Oro setting, Danesi Farr and Wakalor in the middles, Sila, De Gradi, Giovannini, Omaruri, and then De Gennaro. It's like almost the Olympic team. It's completely ridiculous.
What does the federation
What
have
is going on with that federation, man?
What is going on with Italy? Please, someone in the chat, if you're Italian, let us know.
Why? What do they hope to gain? Like, what's the goal? If they go down there and they go 4-0, like, great, good for them. Like, that's cool. But like, what's the point? Italy plays the United States, Germany, Korea, and then Brazil in week 1 of an entire Olympic cycle. Why would you waste those athletes' time flying around the world for that? I don't really get it. Whatever.
I don't understand it either. I don't know if it's there's so many possibilities, but I could sit here and speculate all day, so I won't.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, there's a lot that we don't know, but that is a real curious roster choice. Yeah, I kind of, like I said last night, I expect the US to go 2-2. Real tough start, but I would rather have the most difficult matches in week 1 of an entire quad first versus second. Like, jump in the deep end, try and learn as much as you can from probably 6 sets against Italy and Brazil, then that Czechia game, and then a day off, and then the Korea game. I won't say, you know what? I will say it. That Korea game, at least, after a day off, that is a must-win match. I've been talking about not worrying about the results of matches for this USA women's team, but on talent alone and just like ability to figure it out as athletes with extreme levels of talent and elite pedigrees. I'm not going to say they're at the top of their game, but we must beat Korea. We have to beat Korea. So that Sunday game is one
Rob,
that
I'm telling you,
have to beat Korea.
If the U.S. women don't beat Korea, you're voted off this island. Like, that's the end of the 9x9.
It would be embarrassing for me in my volleyball country. You've been much higher on my own team than I have, so you've been the one that looks dumber, except that I'm the American one.
No. What? Never mind.
I
thought you were going to be wearing a USA shirt right now, and I was going to be like, "What shirt are you wearing?" But
I am not scared of Korea. Absolutely not.
I honestly think. How about we do this? How about we do this? Let's make this a little fun Discord game. Okay, if your country loses to Korea, you need to do a punishment.
Love it.
If your country loses to Korea, you need to do a punishment. There needs to be some type of mass punishment or like mass like humiliation event.
Yes.
If your country loses to Korea at VNL.
I agree. So let's see.
Oh my God, Berkay.
That is an amazing idea. Yeah. Berkay, I'm in for that. That might be the best idea Berkay's ever had. If the United States, I will commit to this. If the United States women lose to Korea this Sunday, I will not appear on the 9x9 next week, and appearing in my place will be Ronnie Cuban Spike.
But that's also a punishment for me, like especially leading up to a men's week too. Oh my God!
Yeah, of course, Ronnie's in the chat.
Ronnie's in the chat now.
Of course he is. Ronnie, you're getting tapped in, dog. If the U.S. somehow loses to Korea, Ronnie's in for me on next show. Oh, that's genius. Yeah, if you are let's see, I'm looking at Korea's schedule. Korea plays Czech this week in match number 3. That will be a very, very bad volleyball match. Czech plays Belgium, and then Korea plays Belgium. Then Korea's last 2 matches of the entire tournament are against Bulgaria and France. If you're from one of those countries, you better be afraid, because we will make you do something embarrassing if your country loses to Korea. I love it.
Yeah, for sure we will. Absolutely, we will.
What's Germany's roster looking like? Let me look at this. This is a team I'm really curious about. Looks like no Pia Kaesner, which is a bummer. So they're gonna have to do something different at the center positions. Vesky and Kinderman at opposites. Sheltel, Chekulaya, Weitzel, Struba in the middles. That's pretty good. No Lena Stigroth, no Hannah Orthman, but Lena Alsmeyer is there and Leanna Grozer is there, George Grozer's daughter. So that's cool. Also, I really liked them. These two teams play in actual VNL, but Germany and Czechia played a friendly, and George Grozer's now wife and Grozer's daughter played against each other, and they took some really cute photos afterwards, like a daughter and a stepmother.
So awesome.
Stepdaughter,
awesome.
stepmother playing against each other. It was very, very cool moment. I'm honestly looking forward to see Germany, a team I'm kind of high on. They have Korea, then Italy, then Brazil, then Czechia. So I would like to see them go 2-2 as well.
Poland really brought out a big roster week 1,
Did they? So yeah, the last location is in Beijing, China, Turkey, Belgium, Poland, Thailand, France. Like China and Turkey, I think, will both be pretty good, even though they're both missing some firepower. But Poland kind of isn't. You're right.
I mean, even Turkey is. They don't have Vargas, but they still have Alexia Kamaratasu.
Right.
They don't have Ojbe, but they do have Elif.
And then this younger setter, Dilay, our Turkish fans have been really high on her. Dilay Özdemir. I think she might be like U21. She's definitely on the younger side, but a name that our Turkish people have advised us to keep an eye out for. So we'll see if she gets some run and can set a decent offense. I am interested that Turkey only brought one opposite, Karatasu, like you said, and 6 outside hitters. So they're going to have to do some like alternate subbing in and out. But you got like Hande Baladin, Daria Jebigiolu, Salia Shaheen, Yaprak Erkek, Malia Diken, and then some girl named Churuk that I've never heard of. But that's like maybe not like Olympic starter level outside hitters, but they've got a lot of decent pieces that they can maybe move around and get some good volleyball out of.
Yeah, I think they do too. Like I don't know. I'm looking at some of these rosters, Rob, and I think it's going to be a little bit all over the place for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's every team is just taking a little bit of a different approach. I am going to be interested to see what Thailand, and we've got one Thai fan who's really adamant in the chat right now, so we'll touch our 2 seconds on them right now. But as some people were pointing out, that this team has kind of played without Pornpoon for a while. And now that she's back and going to bolster some things, it's going to be interesting to see what the team can do. Plus, you got that legendary coach coming back. So I don't know. I expect to see Thailand actually win a game or two into this first week.
Ooh, who do they have? They have Poland, Belgium, Turkey, France. That is 2 winnable.
That's 2
games.
winnable. 2 winnable games for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Poland will be tough, man. This is a team I'm really curious about. After we did our predictions video, Everett, you picked Poland, I think, in like 6th, and I picked them 3rd. Our Polish women's fans were very low on their team. I was surprised to hear them so down on the recent form of a lot of their players. Like, I know Magdalena Stysiak didn't play very much for Fenerbahce this year. I know Martina Łukasik didn't play very much this year. Like, Różański was hurt. Czernianska didn't play that much this year. Like, this is a damn good volleyball team, a great country, a federation, a good coaching staff, team that's been there before. Like, I have no concerns about Poland. I expect them to figure it out very quickly.
I have no concerns about Poland long term. I just think that, and this is once again, and I said it on our other show, you can go back, this is just completely based off vibes. Now, it can be a little bit based off of vibes from our own Discord channels. Maybe some of their feelings have just osmosified into my body, into my being, and I'm, taking on.
Oh, see ya, Everett. He was in the middle of a nice little run there talking about the Polish woman. We'll see if he can figure out his internet situation back in his little outdoor paradise that he's at there in Gatineau. No, I agree with where he was going with that, though. This Polish women's team is perfectly good. They have both really good opposites. They have Venerska, who's a great setter. They've got Lethal Barbie in the middle, who we love. Hey, Everett, welcome back.
Sorry about that. I was clicking around on my screen as I was talking and clicked the wrong thing. But what I was saying is that, like, I just think that this Polish women's team might just lose. Like, I feel like they've done so much in years and years and years. They, like, everyone has seen them, like, they move up and they move up and they move up, and now everyone expects them to move up again. And I don't know if that's possible. You know, I just feel like it might be a bit of a dud year for them before they go off and continue climbing.
But like dud maybe by comparison, because they're a very good team and they're not going to have a bad tournament.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I think that Poland will have a pretty good intercontinental round, and then they will get upset in the quarterfinals. That's what I said in the other show, and I'm sticking by that.
Fair enough.
Just by vibes and feels.
I think they'll be perfectly good in the preliminary round, like they always are. I think I'll also stick with my prediction. I think they beat Serbia in a 5-setter in the quarterfinals and end up winning bronze again, because they're going to beat Italy for third, and Italy doesn't care about bronze medal games. So that's the way I see it. But like the floor of this Polish women's team is very high. They have the quality of athletes and the size and the experience that they're not really going to lose to teams that are so much worse than them. Like this week they have Thailand, followed by China, Turkey, and Belgium. Like that's 2 pretty much guaranteed wins. And I like an undermanned China and undermanned Turkey. I would not be that stunned if Poland goes 4-0 this week. I'm not saying they will, but they definitely could.
I don't know how undermanned Turkey actually is. We'll have to see, but I don't disagree with that. We'll have to see how Poland rolls out. But right now, this roster looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Really
you know what roster Everett does not look very good?
Which one is that?
The French women.
Ooh, you guys.
No Lucille Giquel, no Elena Cazot, and also no Everett, as he's just once again clicked out of the tab where he's supposed to be connected to the show. Yeah, Everett was giving me a little bit of a hard time for picking France really low. Where did I pick them? I picked France to finish 16th. And Everett, stop clicking out of tabs, dog.
That wasn't that one. I don't know what happened there.
So France, no Giquel, no Cazot. And my 16th pick for France is looking pretty good, because they've got Turkey, Belgium, China, Thailand. Guaranteed 2 losses. I could easily see them losing to Belgium without their 2 scorers. I could even see them maybe losing to Thailand without their 2 scorers. Like this week for France might not go very well.
No, you're not wrong. This week for France might not go well at all. But we'll have to see. Like this is what, like, do we know what Belgium looks like? Right? Like, I know they have Herbots.
They have Herbots.
They looks like they have most of their girls. Like, it looks like they're out there to play. So I
don't really recognize anybody on the Belgian roster other than Herbots, but that's just because none of them are super internationally relevant, and we already knew that. But like Herbots alone can beat France without Cazot or Giquel.
Yeah.
Maybe a tough one for the French. And then like Thailand, to add on to what you said, I think a team like that's so unique. They kind of run that old school offense where they've got people running across each other all the time and doing these weird, fun, creative route paths, which I really like. I think a team like that, it'll be pretty quick to tell on the eye test if they can be competitive in VNL or not. Will their offense click immediately, and then can they put pressure on teams and score break points? I feel like you're going to get a decent read on a team like that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I you know what, Rob? You know what I'm excited for? Like next week's show.
Yes.
When we have, like 2 weeks time, as we're going into week number 2, because right now for me, there's so much uncertainty. I don't know. Like, I'm going into a festival not lineup, and I know a couple of the headliners, and that's it. And otherwise, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm just going to see how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
totally. I'm feeling the same thing. Like we've already done really as much previewing of this women's VNL as we can. Like, we've gone through everything. We know all the rosters, and there's just so much that we don't know. We kind of just got to wait to see the games. But on the subject of seeing the games, Everett.
Yes.
Very big news coming out today. Very big news coming out today within my country of the United States. And this is something that's really, really good and a long time coming. And that's that Volleyball World announced today a national United States broadcasting partnership with 2 TV channels here in the States, CBS Sports and the Big Ten Network. So what that means is that you will be able to watch, if you're in the US and you have access to these 2 channels, you'll be able to watch every single United States men's and women's game for VNL and the World Championships later in the fall, plus quote unquote top international matchups We don't know exactly what that means. I assume it'll be like the VNL.
Probably won't be Canada.
Probably not Canada necessarily, but like the VNL playoffs, for example, like at least the medal matches I would expect we'd be able to see here and stuff like that. All of that you'll be able to see on TV in the United States. And this is amazing news.
Is this like just CBS, like regular CBS?
It is CBS Sports Network is the specific channel, but obviously under the umbrella of CBS. And then the Big Ten Network, obviously the Big Ten Conference, we know that from the NCAA, but they're under the umbrella of Fox Sports. So this is really good. It's really, really good. If you can turn on your TV and stumble upon American national team volleyball this summer, it's funny. You can read the whole press release on Volleyball World's website. What they say is that the first time elite international volleyball will appear on national television, even though that's not true, because the whole thing that got me into volleyball in the first place, Everett, was stumbling upon the World League in 2009 on TV. So we used to have this.
What channel was it on?
It was on the USA Network, which was owned by NBC. It was a national channel.
I remember like the USA Network. Yeah.
It was kind of like for Olympic sports. So
but that was
used to exist.
But that was like another extra package, though.
No, it wasn't. I don't know about where it was on cable, but as a 15-year-old, was able to scroll through channels randomly in the summer of 2009, find the World League, and that really sparked a lot of my interest in volleyball. So it's not the first time volleyball has been on TV, but it's been a while. This is really, really good news. Like, it's just so much easier with American sports media to attract people to watch something if they can stumble upon it on TV, or if it's on a streaming service they already have. Like, it's just an additional barrier to make any fan, but especially an American fan, pay specifically for a volleyball specific streaming service. And the fact that people won't have to do that at least to watch USA games this summer is really awesome news. So I'm really, really happy to see this and excited about it.
Yeah, that's honestly great. Like, the fact that USA fans are going to be able to rally around something and have it, not just be VBTV that someone can put it on at a bar. I think it's absolutely huge. Massive. I think honestly, that whole bar thing is really underrated. Like, I'm trying to find a bar in Toronto that will let me stream these games, because often, even though you can watch all of these matches live on cbcsports.ca, the one that are broadcast on CBC are often tape delayed, and like they're shown like the next day, or they're shown a little bit later, or whatever it is. Mostly because a lot of broadcasters don't like that volleyball is such a
variable time duration.
Exactly. So they like to be able to control it a little bit more and then put it within a neat time frame.
Fair enough. That's one of the tricky parts about linear TV broadcasting for volleyball, is the match could be an hour, 20 minutes, or it could be 2.5 hours. And
yeah,
you never know.
Exactly. So I'm just stoked that, you guys are going to be able to watch it normally. Oh yeah. But this is the thing, is like, to get it on in a bar, like on VBTV, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Right.
Now, I mean, maybe it's a uniquely North American thing that we like get together and watch games at bars, because I was like trying to do that.
No, absolutely not. Like, it's like English, like it's like football,
English like soccer. Yeah, of course.
Like, that's a massive thing. You go to the pub and you drink beers and you smash each other in the face afterwards.
Yeah, it's the best. Like, I got a bunch of volleyball people together in Chicago to watch the men's NCAA championship at a bar, and it was really fun. It's just a good way to watch a game with a bunch of people and get people excited about it. And just if people randomly look over their shoulder, they're at a bar on a weekend and they see it, then who knows what can be possible. So this is great. This is really good news. It's kind of about time, because almost every other volleyball country with like a major fan base in the VNL already has this option, like Canada does. Obviously, there's the big like local broadcasting deals in many of the other countries, but not to take away from how good of news this is. And I love that the American volleyball market is continuing to grow and get more attention.
Yeah, I just think that, especially with the PVF going on right now in League One and the NCAA doing so good, it's a little surprising that a major network hasn't jumped on this sooner. I'm really excited to see what the numbers are, especially for the women. Like, I think that there's a potential women, like, if they market that properly, like, they could be doing really, really good numbers.
Totally.
Right? Like, especially when you come up to that week in Arlington as well, too. There could be some really good numbers going down for the USA.
Which is timed really well, because it's week 3. There's like, I mean, this announcement came out today. It's literally a day before the VNL starts. So you get like basically a full month of worth of downhill gravity of people like becoming more aware and knowing to look on the certain TV channels for the games that hopefully peaks in Arlington. And maybe if this team makes the playoffs, then we'll get another bonus match. But again, I don't predict that to happen, but still, this is super good. So good for American volleyball. Love to see this.
You're gonna make a lot of enemies on your own women's national team.
It's
like you're gonna show up to an event sometime and be like, you didn't pick us to make VNL finals last year, and they're not gonna give you an interview.
good. That would be funny. That would be good content for me to get rejected by players.
But they wouldn't do it on Canada. They would just be like, no, and just be like, oh, that guy, no, and walk away. We wouldn't even have the content.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But fortunately, I, differently from many American women's volleyball fans, actually know ball and how the international game works. So I know that where the expectations should be set, and if we exceed them, I'll be thrilled. That's how this is going to go.
I just want to see Olivia Babcock ball out.
She's going to be so good, dude.
Bro, I didn't realize she's U21.
Yeah,
like she's playing U21.
She is 19 years old.
What?
She is 19 years old.
Shut the fuck up.
Dead ass.
That's wild.
She is 19-year-old. She turns 20 at the end of this month.
I really think that she, of all the American opposites I've seen come through, I think that she's one. I think you hit it on the head last night in your show, that she's the one who might actually be able to handle that international volume and that international style of play, and being that prototypical high ball hitter in the European scene.
That's what I'm so excited to see this early, because there aren't that many systems in the NCAA that use their opposite like that. Pitt is one of the very few, just because they have that athlete in Babcock. But I've also heard from some people that I guess know what's going on in the early parts of the USA gym, that they've told me that Babcock and then Logan Lednicki, who's also still in the NCAA at Texas A&M, I've heard that those two players are head and shoulders better than the other three opposites in the mix right now, which I'm so excited about.
Okay, I guess we'll have to see. That's what like right now, there's just so much, and I feel like a broken clock and just saying it, but we're literally on the eve of VNL starting. So it's for me, it's really like I almost want to stop talking about it and just wake up ready tomorrow to see it happen. You know, I
was going to say the same thing. I don't really think we have that much more to talk about in this show. We've done all the preview content we can. We've talked about our own teams. We've picked it. We've previewed it. We know the rosters. I think there's kind of nothing left to do but sit back and watch some ball. So I mean, it starts tonight, North American time, and then Everett's going to all the matches this week. So
no, not all of them. I won't be at the Sunday ones.
Okay. Why?
I'm
hitting the road or to QC or what?
Yeah, hitting the road to QC so I can go get you guys some Volleyball Source classics from Italy, Canada versus Italy on Sunday night.
Ooh, that's a big one for the channel. Love that. That's going to be real fun to watch.
Yeah, I was looking at our lifetime growth for like subscribers and stuff like that, and you can see every time I post baseline videos how much like there's just these like little like spikes in our subscribers whenever I post those.
Speaking of subscribers, I was looking through our YouTube analytics, which I don't do often, but I was looking through our YouTube analytics because something that a lot of YouTubers complain about is something that I didn't think would be a problem for us, but it kind of is. Why are more than half of the people that watch all of our stuff not subscribed to the channel?
Oh, it's like way more than half.
What's up with that, man?
It's like way more than half.
Y'all got to be better than that. We have.
Why?
Because they need to subscribe to our channel. That people who like this style of content need to subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost you anything. And while subscribers don't pay us, views pay us. Subscribers help us sell what our platform is to potential sponsors and partners. So subscriber numbers matter. We need you guys to press that button in addition to the like button. I hate being like the cringe YouTuber, but we need you guys to do that. If you watch the show and you're not subscribed, then you're just not doing it correctly.
Literally, we have people in the chat right now who are being like, I don't subscribe.
See? And especially with VNL coming up, subscribe now, because like Everett's going to be in Ottawa this week. Our upload schedule at VNL is very like chaotic and unpredictable
all the time.
Because we're just pumping out stuff all the time. And seriously, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you're going to miss really everything. especially when we're together in Chicago in a couple weeks. Like our live schedule, we're not going to know when we're going live until like 10 minutes before. So like not subscribing to the channel only hurts you. Figure it out.
Yeah. So, although we've had, it's so crazy. VNL starts to say everyone starts caring about volleyball again. Eh?
Yeah. How about that? If you want to keep the conversation going, join the Volleyball Source Discord. A link in the description. Really good community that we've built, and that's a really good place to chat and experience VNL and learn from a lot of other people and talk a bunch of trash and make fun of teams that might lose to Korea and the whole 9 yards.
Okay, I do want to go through some of the big games from this weekend.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me pull it up here. I had made a notes.
I mean, I'm looking at. I've a couple jump out to me.
US.
Go ahead.
Yeah, on tomorrow, obviously USA versus Italy. That's going to be a big one to get us going. I think that was my only one on day number 1.
I think Dominican Serbia is underrated. It might not have like that many long-term implications, but I think it could be like fiery in terms of physicality. But
this Serbian team looks young. They're going to be young. I don't know if it's good.
All right.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Day number 1. I'm just going USA Italy. That's really all that we got. Thailand, Poland, China, Belgium.
That'll be a 3-0 slapping.
Yeah, probably. On day number 2, this is where I think things get a little bit more spicy. I think China Poland's going to be a really good one. I think that's going to be one to check out at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. But for all you Europeans and people in Asia, that's going to be a really good one to check out. I do think that Canada Netherlands is going to be a little spicy. As Bree said it today, I think that this one's going to be a bit of a friendly rivalry. I think Canada remembers what they left on the table last time. They feel that maybe they weren't given the best foot forward, let's say. And they're going to want a shot at this one. And then finally, to round it out, USA versus Brazil, always a classic from the Maracanazinho. Amazing. You got to love it.
What more could you ask for?
Moving on to Friday, June 6th. Honestly, I've got nothing that day. So here's 2 games that I actually think might be a little bit decent. I'm interested in Thailand versus Turkey. I don't know why. I'm just the gut tells me.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just high on this Thai team right now. Just the gut tells me. And I do think that whereas you thought that Dominican versus Serbia is going to be interesting, I think that Dominican versus the Dutch is going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit more interesting.
I think that's an Olympic pool play rematch, so that could be pretty good.
So that one's not bad. Definitely Friday, June 6th is probably the lesser of days. You guys are taking on the Czechia, Serbia versus Japan. It's going to be whatever. Saturday though, June 7th, this is going to be a big day, kicking it off nice and early. Turkey versus Poland.
Good match.
So all of you Euros are going to get to wake up nice and early for that. Also, Rob, I know you're going to like this one, Germany, Brazil. I feel like this one's going to be nice. I think that one's going to be a pretty spicy. You've also got Canada, Japan that day, but I don't think that's going to be a big,
I like that
matchup.
because of Guidetti versus Akbash. I think that battle is fun.
True. Yeah, we'll see.
We will. And then you have the toilet bowl of Korea versus Czechia. That's brutal.
Is that on Sunday?
That's on Saturday. That's real tough. It's down in Rio.
Yeah, that one is a tough one. And you're going to finish out with Bulgaria versus Serbia. That one, I honestly may not even stay for that Saturday night match. I might go out with my friends.
Not the worst idea.
Like Bulgaria versus Serbia.
Not the worst idea.
I don't know if I'm into that. I don't know. And then Sunday, we've only got a few matches, but we got bangers across the board. China versus Turkey to get your day started. Then you've got Brazil, Italy.
That's the best match of the week right there.
Yeah, for sure. Other than that, I think you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, some decent matchups here in week number 1.
Canada versus Serbia, Guidetti versus his former team. Just to play it up a little bit.
Yeah, I do think that will be a little bit interesting, especially because this roster, in week 1, is essentially the last year's roster too.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, you got a delicious little buzz coming in there from either something behind you or from your setup. I am impressed that it's held in there for so long. But to be honest, I kind of think that's a show. I think we might be done here. I think you might get to go in and watch the Canadian men now, which I'm sure you're excited about.
I think so too. Yeah, honestly, I am stoked. I did get a message from Lewis in the middle of that saying that he has to probably be dad duty because he's about to be going the road for months on end. So I don't know if I'm going to get to chat with him today, but I am going to go check out that script. I'm 100% chatting with Lewis. Don't worry, we're going to figure out a time between now and next Wednesday when they kick off their VNL. I will have a sit down with Lewis. Right.
Excellent.
I will confirm with him today. I will see him today. Okay, I'll see him shortly. And yeah.
Happy VNL, ladies and gentlemen. This is the spot to be. We got a lot of stuff coming on this channel. You really should subscribe to it. But we are looking forward to it. Everett will be in Ottawa all week posting all kinds of stuff. Then we will get our men's predictions. I'll do a preview for the USA men. Then Everett will go to Quebec City next week for men's week 1, and we'll be moving forward from there. So join the Volleyball Source Discord and keep an eye on this here YouTube channel for whatever we got going on from Ottawa.
Yeah. Don't expect any clips or anything from my phone. Not allowed to film anything. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Instagram stories? Nope.
Yeah, it's tough this year, man.
TikToks of myself? Nope. Nothing. So you'll see a lot of backdrops.
We're gonna do what we can.
Yeah. Also, shout out to India winning something in volleyball for once. I saw that Dev put the Indian flag in the chat.
Wow, what a miracle. Well, we appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Happy national team season. Everett, get in there and go watch Canada.
Bye.